Hey guys, it's Renee from the Flipping Tilvies. Today I'm going to share with you how I recovered our dinette cushions for our RV. I'm going to show you guys how to go from this to this. Now I am going to do the disclaimer that I am not a professional sewer and all of my sewing skills have come from YouTube tutorials over the last 10 to 15 years. But I did just want to share how I did it this time because I wasn't able to find a YouTube tutorial that showed it this exact way. What you're going to need for this project is a sewing machine, scissors, needles, pins, tape measure, piece of paper, and fabric. Now the fabric that I used is a vinyl indoor-outdoor fabric called San Fran Caramel that I got at Joann's for 40% off. It was $35 a yard originally. Make sure to find a coupon for 40 to 50% off to make this project a little bit more cost-effective. I am using a drop cloth that I got at Home Depot for the back side. I have 3 yards of vinyl from Joann's, and then I needed about a yard of fabric of the drop cloth. Now the first thing that we did is I measured the width of the cushion that I was wanting to cover and the depth of the cushion, and then added 4 inches on, 2 inches for each side, because I wanted to be able to wrap around the back side of the cushion and not show any of the backing material. The cushion we'll be covering today is 41.5 inches long, plus the 5 inches depth for each side and 2 inches to wrap around on each side. And then it's 21.5 inches wide, plus the 5 inches depth and the 2 inches on each side as well. Because I'm a visual learner, I find it very helpful to draw out a diagram of how it will look in the end. So the piece we'll be cutting then is going to be 55.5 inches by 35.5 inches. And then we're going to cut out the 7 by 7 squares on each side as well. After I cut out the squares, I got the sewing machine and I sewed up each one of those squares. That gives you all of your corners. After I sewed up the corners, I put the cushion back in to make sure it fit and to see if I needed to make it a little bit tighter. On these cushions, you want to make sure that they are pretty tight because you're going to be sitting on them and you don't want there to be a lot of give. So this is where you're able to make sure that it's nice and tight. Then after all the corners are done properly, I cut a piece of the drop cloth fabric that is 1 inch wider than the back, opening in the back. I sew it to one of the short sides. We have measured the fabric, we've cut the fabric, we've cut out the corners and sewn the corners. We've dry fit the cushion on here, and this corner is a little bit loose, and so I am going to pin it a little bit tighter and then re-sew that one. The other corners seem fine. We have measured the drop cloth fabric for the back side of it, and I have sewn that to one of the short ends of our cover. Now the vinyl fabric needs to be more fitted around the backside, and so I'm going to tighten them and pin them at an angle. And I'm going to pin them the direction that I want to sew. I'm just going to do that on these 2 bottom corners. On these top 2 corners, we're going to do a whip stitch to a hand stitch to close that up. and then I sew it to one of the long sides. After I've sewn it to the short side and the long side, I get pins and I pin it to the other long side. This is another good time to make sure it gets nice and tight, and you're pinning it while it's in the cushion. After you've pinned it, you remove the cushion from the covering and you sew that up, except for the last 6 inches so that you're able to get it in. So the top and the 6 inches are open. After you've done that, you turn it right side out and slide the covering back over the pillow. After the covering's back on the pillow, you can slip stitch the vinyl to the backing and then slip stitch up the last 6 inches on the side as well. This is the last time you can make sure that it's nice and tight through the back. If you make mistakes on the back, it's not that big of a deal because this will be on the bottom of the pillow. The main part you want to make sure is nice is the top. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe to get more tips on RVs and also to follow our adventures. Thanks for watching.